Assalamualaikum students. I hope you are all fine and you are enjoying good health. First of all, I want to wish all of you a happy Ramzan Kareem. There is a lot of praise. May Allah accept all of our prayers. May Allah accept all of our fast, and may Allah Pak save us from this virus. So, students, today we are going to start our new topic, that is about Gauss's law and working of a capacitor. Working of a capacitor, I will discuss this thing in our second video. In the first video, we are going to study what is Gauss's law. The objectives are to understand the Gauss's law, to calculate the electric field and electric flux, to understand the working of a capacitor. So working of a capacitor will be discussed in second video. In the first video, we are going to study what is Gauss's law and how to calculate electric field and electric flux. You are already familiar from magnetic field and magnetic flux. In this lecture, we will study what is electric field and what is electric flux. Both magnetic field and electric field are interlinked with each other. Similarly, both magnetic flux and electric flux, these terms are relatively same, but first we were discussing in magnets, and now we are going to discuss these things in electric and electric field. So Gauss is the scientist that gave us a law about electric field and electric flux. So we are going to discuss this, both electric field and electric flux. So here we start. What is Gauss's law? Definition and examples. We are going to see the definition of Gauss's law, the explanation of Gauss's law, and some examples of Gauss's law. So Gauss's law, a law that describes what an electric field will look like due to a known distribution of electric charge. Electric field, how it will be look like, that is produced by an electric charge. As in the case of magnets, there was a magnet and that magnet was producing some magnetic field. Similarly, here in the case of electricity, there is an electric charge and that electrical charge is producing electric field. So Gauss's law tells us about how can we measure that electric field, how can we see that electric field, how can we calculate, how can we observe that electric field. That is all about the Gauss's law. So the total of electric flux out of a closed surface is equal to the magnitude of charge enclosed. The total of electric flux out of a closed surface is equal to the magnitude of charge enclosed. You have to understand it by the example of a balloon. There is a balloon and you have a charge enclosed in that balloon, and that charge is producing electrical field. And when this charge produces electrical field and this electrical field comes out of that balloon, these field lines are coming out of that balloon, and this is it will be called electrical flux. Like in magnetic field, in magnetic flux, you have example when magnetic lines of force, when magnetic field passes through a perpendicular area, that is called the magnetic flux. Similarly here, the closed charge, enclosed charge that is present in a balloon, that is present in a closed surface. The balloon is closed from all sides, that's why we are using here the word closed surface. So the charge is in a closed surface and the charge is producing some electrical field. Electric field is coming out of that surface, it will become electrical flux. So the electrical flux is equal to the magnitude of that charge which is present inside the surface divided by the permittivity of free space. What is permittivity of free space? Permittivity is a constant that tells us about how the field is interacting with the surface, how the field is coming out of that surface in free space. That is called permittivity of free space. It has a constant value. This is Gauss's law. Phi is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. What is this phi, what is this Q, and what is this epsilon naught? This phi is your magnetic flux, electrical flux. This Q is your charge enclosed, the charge which is present in that surface, that is your Q, and epsilon naught is your permeability of free space. And what is the value of this constant? That is 8.85 into 10 raised to power minus 12, and this phi is your electrical flux. Similarly, you have this phi in the case of magnetic flux and magnetic field. Now here you have this phi in electrical flux. You can also show it by writing here a small e. This phi e, that will be electrical flux. So what is electrical now what is electrical flux? So here, the electrical field multiplied by the area of a surface perpendicular to the field. Like there is an electrical field coming through an electrical charge, and that field have a perpendicular surface in its way, and when that field interact with this perpendicular surface and the field come out of that surface, that is called electrical flux. So electrical flux is equal to E and A. E is the electrical field multiplied by the area area of a surface perpendicular to that field. So this area and this E both are perpendicular. This flux is equal to, this phi is equal to EA. E is your field and A is your area of the surface. As here in this example there is a low surface, because three lines are coming out of that surface, that is a low flux, and this here, this is your, you can say this is a high flux. More field is interacting, more field is coming through this surface, that which is high flux. So this is the example that I was telling you in the case of a balloon. Like here, this is a closed surface. This orange thing is your this is a closed surface. This is a ball, and just assume that you have a charge in the center of the surface. Here in the center you have a charge. That charge is enclosed in this ball, and the field coming outward from that charge is, when that field will come outside of the ball, it will become this electric flux. And these blocks, these black colored something you are saying this out of the orange ball, this is your electrical flux. So here your flux is equal to that electrical field which is inside, electrical field inside produced by that charge coming out of the surface by interacting the surface area, that is the area is your A, and that whole thing outside of this ball, that is your flux. So this is the example which you are considering. A charge is in a closed surface, so you can also have a charge in a wire, you can also have a charge in a cylinder. So in now here in this example you have, you are seeing there is a cylinder. You can also have it by example of a wire. You have a wire and your charges are moving from that wire. Now your charges are inside a cylinder. In the first case your charges were present in a closed ball, and now your charges are in a surface. So outside the, I'm going back, outside of the ball, the flux was also in a round circular shape. But now when your charge is in a cylinder, the flux outside the cylinder will be in the form of these round wires, circular rings. So Gauss's law is here. Gauss's law is equal to flux phi is equal to Q charge divided by permittivity constant. And what was your flux is equal to? Flux is equal to electric field multiplied by perpendicular area. So here you can also put this EA, by replacing this phi you can put here this EA. So your EA, your field, electric field multiplied by area, is equal to charge divided by permittivity constant. This is Gauss's law. So now we're going to see some examples of Gauss's law. Like in this example we are seeing a charge is enclosed in a sphere. Like you have this orange sphere, in previous slides this is the orange sphere and orange ball. You have a charge inside that ball, and this sphere has the radius r. So what was your Gauss's law? Gauss's law was equal to phi is equal to q or divided by epsilon naught, and you have replaced that phi by EA. So E is your field and area, and q is charge, and epsilon naught is your permittivity constant. So if this sphere has an radius of some r value, so what will be the formula of that area of that surface? The area of the sphere is equal to 4 pi r square. Similarly, as you have the formula of area of rectangle, that is length into width. Area of a circle, that is pi r square. So area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. So you have to put this area value 4 pi r square here in this A. That will become 4 pi r square. 4 pi r square is equal to q divided by epsilon naught. So what will be the next step? This 4 pi r square term is multiplying here, and it will come here and divide it. So this E electric field is equal to the q charge divided by 4 pi r square epsilon naught. So here you can have the value of your electric field by dividing your charge by 4 pi r square epsilon naught. So you can calculate your electric field here by this example. So I have an like here that this radius and this circular sphere that is shown here in just a 2D form, in just a represented by a circle, that is basically this sphere here. So this sphere, the electric field of this sphere is equal to the charge that is present inside this sphere, and that charge divided by 4 pi r square into epsilon naught. So there is an example, a charge of 0.1 coulomb, q is equal to 0.1, and a sphere that has a radius 0.4, like here this r is equal to 0.4 in this here, r is equal to 0.4, and L is equal to 0.6 for the case of cylinder. Like this case is of a spherical ball, and next this case is of cylinder. So the values are these values are for both questions. First question you have to calculate the electric field of a sphere, this, and in second case you have to calculate the electric field of this cylinder. So here in sphere, for the case of sphere, you have a area of sphere 4 pi r square, and in next slide, like here, in the case of a cylinder, you will have the area 2 pi rl. The area of cylinder has formula 2 pi rl, and similarly that 2 pi rl will be replaced by this a here, and that 2 pi rl is multiplying with this e, and when it will come at the right side of this equation, it will be divided by q. So electric field of a sphere, electric field of a cylinder, that will be q over 2 pi epsilon naught r l. So just there is just a difference of this l. The formula of electric field of a sphere was this: E is equal to q over 4 pi r square epsilon naught, 4 pi r square, this is r square, and in the case of cylinder there comes rl, that l is basically length of the cylinder. So that's why in this numerical I have mentioned here this length. You have to put this length in the case of cylinder, and in the case of sphere there is just no using of this there is no use of this l. You only have to put the values of this q, the value of this r, the value of this epsilon naught, and you have to calculate simply the electric field of a sphere. This q is equal to 0.1, this q is here 0.1, and this epsilon naught is 8.85, epsilon naught 8.85 10 is to the minus 12, and pi 3.14, and this r is the radius, that is 0.4. So by using this formula, you can easily calculate the electric field of a closed surface, the electric field of a sphere and the cylinder, both are closed surface, but sphere is just like a ball, just like a balloon that is totally round, and cylinder is just like a wire. The cylinder is open from both ends. Like here you can see there is a cylinder, it is open from this end and open from that right end. So this formula q is equal to q over 4 pi r square epsilon naught, this formula is for this round closed sphere, and next formula, this E is equal to q over 2 pi epsilon naught r l, this formula is for this cylinder. And how can you say that how is this l here? This l is here because of the area formula. This area formula have this l, and the area formula of sphere, like here, it's just 4 pi r square, and the area formula of cylinder is 2 pi r l. So you have to calculate the electric field of a sphere and electric field of a cylinder by using these values. So I am ending this lecture right here, and I will discuss these things more clearly in next video.